Good evening. The Eastham Conservation Commission will hold a remote public meeting on Tuesday, October 22nd at 6 p.m. pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, MGL, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 to 25, Open Meeting Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Chapter 155 of the Code of the Town of Eastham, Eastham Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Before we start, this meeting is streaming on Public Access Channel 8 and is available on the Eastham Town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. Please remain mute unless it is your turn to speak, and please let the chair know if you will be recording the meeting. And I'm going to take attendance. Janet Benjamins.
Here.
Joanne Cossett.
Here.
Greg Douglas.
Here.
Chuck Wagner.
Here.
Mike Harnett.
Here.
And Karen Strauss. I am here. First up is a certificate of compliance filed by Peter Maglathlin, SE 19-635, for the upgrade of an existing stone revetment facing a wood bulkhead, stabilize coastal bank with plantings, rebuild an existing wood stairs, and construction of a 6-foot wide splash apron on top of the existing revetment at property located at 20 Marions Way, map 07, parcel 556. Is there somebody here to speak to this? Looks like not. Alex, could you just run through this real quickly for us?
Sure. This project was for the replacement of some stairs. These stairs are within the paper way of Marions Way. So these abut the revetment that is also on our agenda this evening. And during our site visit this morning, I mean, it seemed the stairs are built as they were proposed with the plan. And I know the applicants requested some continuing conditions with this COC, but before we get into those, I know Mike and Greg were out there with me this morning. I was wondering if they had any input on what they saw.
Greg, go ahead.
Yes, the stairs, but basically what had appeared to happen over many years is there was erosion beneath the stairs, and the bank was draining into the bank, on the bank, from the top to the bottom. So they were backfilling the top part and then infilling below the original stairs. They raised the stairs, and the stairs appear to be in good order, and the plants appear to be doing very well. And the apron, or the splash apron, appears to be in place, and there was sand on it. It looked in good shape.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
From what we saw, it does appear to have mitigated the issue of erosion beneath the stairway. Yep.
And you, okay. All right, so they were looking for a lot of continuing conditions here. And it doesn't seem like all of them are applicable to continuing conditions. As the project was complete, and we usually require permitting for additional maintenance. So I was going to suggest that we have continuing order of condition for 25, which is stabilization of the plantings and continued maintenance and management of the plantings to be reviewed by the property owner on an annual basis, and then that we continue the annual beach nourishment, and then require that if there is any maintenance to be done, they come back and ask for a permit. So I'd like to hear from other people on this. Anybody? Janet?
Yes, I concur. I think in perpetuity is a long time. So I'd like to have um, the homeowners return a lot sooner than that. So I concur, support your idea.
Oh, anybody else? So
Yeah.
we're looking for a motion to approve with a continuing, oh, did somebody have a comment?
Yes, me. I disagree with the both of you. I don't see any reason to bring these people back unless they're going to do something that's going to go beyond the scope of the initial approved work. We've been approving these things in the past. I don't see any reason to stop doing it now.
Okay, any other comments?
Karen, I'll say I don't have a strong opinion necessarily, but I question considering, weather patterns, et cetera, and changing conditions, whether or not it's appropriate to at least come back at some point, because it's hard to define in its entirety what might be required in the future.
Right, but we have been requiring that people come back to permit additional work on the beach and maintenance. So that's not new for this. It's been under a continuing condition. We get to review it every 3 years when they come in for an extension. And if we offer continuing conditions, we don't continue to have that opportunity. And even within that, there would be notice to the agent prior to work. But what would you like to see as the motion? If not what I just suggested. Alex?
I know since we've been here, I think we've permitted maintenance on stairways with RDAs. So perhaps that would be an appropriate filing for future maintenance of these stairways.
So I'm going to suggest again, if we'd like to have a motion to approve with 26 annual nourishment and 25 stabilization of planting to be ongoing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Okay. Greg,
yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes,
and I am a yes as well. Next, we have certificate of compliance filed by Peter Maglathlin, SE 19-665, for the installation of a septic system at 20 Marions Way, map 07, parcel 556. And Alex has informed me that the Board of Health has already approved this septic system, and they are not looking here for any ongoing conditions. I know you guys looked at this. Greg or Mike, do you have any comments on the septic system as you were out this morning? And then Alex after that. Greg, go ahead, and then
No
we'll hear from
no
Alex.
comments from me. We couldn't find it, to be honest with you. We looked and we could not find it, so we'll have to rely on the other group.
Okay, Alex?
Yeah, I think even if it was stakes, I mean, it's hard for us to ground truth something that's buried. So since the health department has issued a COC on this, I would be comfortable doing the same.
Okay, so if we could have a motion to approve a certificate of compliance for SE 19-665.
So
move
moved.
to, second,
Okay, Janet,
yes,
Chuck,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Okay, moving on. This is the last one for this property. Certificate of compliance filed by Peter Maglathlin, SE 19-1025 for nourishment and stabilization of the coastal bank regarding to the direct runoff away from the top of the bank, removal of existing stairway and platform, reconstruction and maintenance of the stairway, platform, and fences at property located at 20 Marions Way. So I would think your observances in the field would be very similar to the first COC.
Agreed.
Okay, and again, they were looking in this one for quite a lot of continuing conditions, and looking it over, a lot of these just don't apply. So I'd like to suggest that we continue with 24, which is the plantings, and then 25, the annual nourishment. And then additional maintenance could come under a RDA. Janet, you have a comment?
Yes. I think this went past, but I didn't care for in perpetuity. I'd like to have a 3-year review.
Yeah,
Is there a
that
way
does.
of saying that?
That doesn't usually happen with certificates of compliance.
Okay.
That we either give conditions or we don't.
All right, but he was asking for several extra things that don't always happen with certificates of compliance either.
Well, such as?
All right, you said 24 and 25. And isn't 26 the annual nourishment also?
On this one, it's 25.
Okay. All right.
Okay, any other thoughts here? Okay, so if we could have a motion for a certificate of compliance for SE 19-635 with continuing conditions, number 24 and number 25.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay,
Second.
Joanne,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yes,
Janet,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Okay. Next up is a plan change request filed by James Justude for SE 19-1882. Applicant proposes to install an innovative alternative septic tank within the circular driveway with the removal of some locust trees at property located at 80 Goody Hallett Drive, map 20, parcel 017. And we have Laura.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. I'm just here to present this request for approval of a plan change at Jim Justude's property at 80 Goody Hallett Drive. This project was for the construction of 2 additions to provide some additional habitable space. And in the process of putting in the foundations, we knew we were going to have to relocate the septic tank to comply with the setback requirements. And originally, the new septic tank was going to go underneath the driveway. And we've recently been in communication with the health department about this project. And we're now going to be adding an innovative alternative technology. And because we don't want to be driving over the covers, the new tank location is actually farther away from the wetland itself. It will be within an existing circular driveway area. So a locust tree will come out for the installation of the tank. But obviously this will be way better treatment than what was originally proposed. And the homeowners will be providing some native screening in the form of some evergreen shrub, because these covers are to grade, so they'll want to camouflage the covers a bit so you're not staring at them when you come out the front door. So that's pretty much it. Addition of an IA, farther away from the wetland, and even though the IA itself is a lot of mitigation, we're still going to be providing some additional native plantings in the form of screening for that, those tank covers. So that's it.
Thank you, Laura. I have no questions. I'm going to open it up to the group. Steve, Greg, and Mike, you were out there. Any thoughts?
No, I'm okay with it.
I'm all set too.
Okay, Alex?
Excuse me, I'm all set as well. This one was not on our site visit agenda this morning, so we didn't go out to this property.
Okay, then I
We've been
missed
there
that.
We've been there before.
Right.
Okay. But Janet, you have something?
Yes, I think Laura just said they're removing one locust, that's all?
Yeah, there's one there, and it's just kind of in the way. It's where we need to put the tank, so it's
Well,
coming
how
out.
dare it?
Oh,
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, if there's no more thoughts, if we could have a motion to approve with a, we could just have a motion to approve the plan change request with the mitigation planting.
Move to approve the plan change request for SC 19-1882 and add mitigation.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second,
Okay, Janet,
Yes.
Joanne,
yes.
Mike,
yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yes?
and I'm a yes. Thank you, Laura.
All right, thanks, everybody. Good night.
Okay, next we have an administrative review filed by Abby Dora Koenig for planting beach grass plugs at property located at 29 Longstreet Lane, map 10, parcel 334. Anybody want to speak on this? Okay. Seems like a very straightforward plan there. Nobody has any questions. I would like to propose that we approve this with conservation agent to be notified by telephone 48 hours before the work begins, and the beach grass plantings will be 12-inch centers offset in a lattice rows with 2 to 3 grass clumps per placement.
I suggest that we amend that to say 2 business days.
Okay. So if somebody would like to make a motion that the conservation agent shall be notified by telephone 2 business days before beginning the work, and the area will be planted with American beach grass on 12-inch centers offset in lattice rows with 2 to 3 grass clumps per placement.
Can I ask a quick question just to refresh my memory? Is there a particular preferred planting time of year so that the beach grass takes more? And would we want to kind of give a limit on that, or do we not usually do that?
I don't know. I don't think we usually do that unless it's in a natural species area.
Okay. Yeah, I just
Alex?
remember with the couple previous projects, that sometimes the plantings fail if they're done at certain times of the year. So just asking.
Yeah, usually it's better to plant them in the earlier fall or in the spring than when it's colder and they won't have time to settle in. Do we want it at a time of year, Alex? What do you think?
I'm not too concerned about that. We have allowed, temporary irrigation with beach grass plantings before, so that's also something we could condition with this. I'm just thinking about the grass trying to make it through the hot dry summer. So perhaps allowing for some temporary irrigation if the homeowner wants to include that in the scope of work.
That sound good to everybody? Okay, should we try this again? So if somebody would like to make a motion to approve with the conservation agent being notified 48 hours before work, I'm sorry, 2 days before work beginning, that the beach grass plantings will be on 12-inch centers offset in lattice rows with 2 to 3 clumps of grass for placement, and that temporary irrigation will be allowed in the summer for a year.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Joanne,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yeah,
Janet? Janet, you're muted.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. And I am a yes. Okay, so moving on, continuation of notice of intent filed by Thomas and Megan Joyce. Applicant proposes to remove selective invasive vegetation and plant native shrubs at property located at 716 State Highway, map 21, parcel 63D. And I can see Charles Wentz is here. Before we start, I'm just going to say that we continued this so that the resource areas could be updated on the plan to include riverfront, AE flood zone, and shallow marsh, and so that performance standards could be addressed in the filing. And so looking at the filing, I didn't see that that actually was updated to include the information that we had requested.
I did add that the land is subject to coastal storm flooding, and the lot is set on a shallow marsh. It's noted, and it is below that 10 or 11 elevation. The engineers referred to the wetland as a sideline ditch, and I included a previous, let's see, Ryder and Wilcox plan that shows it as such. It is a ditch, man-made. I don't know when it was made, and that's what the engineers seem to refer to this as.
Well, we've since determined that it's a river. The field work was put into place, and we did tell you that at our last meeting. And we asked you to update the plan itself to show the resource areas, and I don't see that that has
You
happened.
need the, therefore you're saying it's a 200-foot.
Yes,
Would it be willing to approve the project subject to me submitting that to the officers?
I think I would be okay with that. It's really important that when we ask you to address things like performance standards and to include the resource areas on the plans, that is what happens. But
I'm happy to
think
change that and can submit another plan.
okay. So
Yeah.
I think I would be okay with that. I think
Thank
this
you.
is generally a low impact project, and I don't have any other comments. Does
Thank you.
anybody else on the commission have any comments? Okay. So if we could have a motion to approve, give me 1 second here.
Alex has a comment.
Oh,
Question.
Alex, go ahead.
And then I think when we were speaking to this, Karen, we wanted to note that we were going to condition that the plan submitted can only be used for this project only. Is that right?
Right. Yes, I'd like to do that as well.
As far as the resource area delineations?
Yes. So if we could have a motion to approve with the condition that the plan submitted can only be used for this project, and that it is made clear that this is a riverfront area with the applicant to submit a revised plan by the end of next week, if that would work. And okay, and special conditions for single-family dwellings with landscaping.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second,
Second,
Okay, Janet,
yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joanne,
yes.
Chuck,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So you are done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, next up, we have a continuation of notice of intent filed by Lizette Pedri. Applicant proposes to remove shed, install new shed, replace stone patio, brick walkway, existing cement driveway, construct split rail fence, and outdoor shower, remove 5 trees, prune trees, bushes and shrubs, plant native vegetation and grass at property located at 490 South Something Meadow, map 01, parcel 090. And the applicant was not able to get all of the materials in time for the meeting, and so we're looking to continue it to November 11th, our November 11th meeting. If we could have a motion to that.
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second,
Okay, Janet,
yes.
Chuck,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Okay, now we're going to discuss a violation at 29 Long Street Lane. And Alex, if you wouldn't mind getting us started.
Excuse me. Yes, thank you, Karen. This morning during our site visits at the Long Street property, it was evident that there was some work being done outside the scope of a previously approved order. That included some work installing some walkways on either side of the dwelling, and there's a platform in the rear of the property. I think our initial concern was with pressure treated wood that was being used for the project. Some cases of footings being used and diamond piers to prevent ground contact of the pressure treated post, but there are other sections of the walkways that do have PT contact with the ground. So I spoke with the contractor at the site. I did issue a stop work order today, and then also spoke with the property owner. And I want to thank both of them for attending the meeting tonight on short notice. So perhaps we could hear more from them.
You also mentioned that there's a platform in the dune.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Hi, this is Michael Allen. I'm doing the work over there. I apologize for the inconvenience. The walkway to the right of the house was existing and I replaced it. And then the platform in the rear in the dune was also there as well. So I replaced that. I usually am a subcontractor, so dealing with conservation is something I don't normally do. So I apologize for all this. The other left side of the house, there was a walkway, but I added in the diamond piers and the 6x6 post, and it was all that is elevated off of the sand next to the house. All the 4x4s that are buried in the sand are all wrapped in concrete. The reason I did not pull a permit is because in prior towns I've worked in where the deck is not connected to the structure, I wasn't required to pull a permit. But I'm willing to do whatever it is I need to do in order to get everything going back on schedule and everything to your liking.
Can I just ask, in the prior towns where you weren't required to pull a permit, was the work in wetlands?
One of them, yes.
Okay, because it makes a lot of sense when you come to a new town to check the the requirements before you start work.
Sure, I apologize
and-
about that.
And I'd like
And-
to, I'm the owner of the house and I
Mhm.
just joined as well. And I just, if I could just say a
Could you
few.
identify your name by record? Just
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Victor Koenig. I'm the owner of 29 Long Street in Eastham.
Mhm.
Great. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts with this committee. First of all, I'm here because it is highly important to me to ensure that I abide by the town rules and regulations. That's why, for example, every year when I try to maintain the dunes, I go through the proper channels to pull the permit. I work closely with Justin on anything that needs to get done. So making sure that I follow the rules is critical. And then, first of all, I want to apologize. I was not aware. I was always told that if you have an existing structure and you're maintaining that structure, or you're top grading that structure, that you do not need to pull a permit. That was my understanding going into this. I understand that the path on the right, we left it as is, but the path on the left side of the house, we lifted it by a foot or two. And the reason for that is because there's all these spiky plants that when my children walk, they're getting hurt by, and there's poison ivy. So I just literally, instead of having a path on the floor, on the ground, we lifted it. And I think that was the issue. Which thank you, Alex, for being so understanding today and getting us in front of this committee. So I just want to reiterate Mike's comments and first apologize for what was a foresight on our part, and then obviously happy to do whatever we need to do to make sure that we're compliant and we're following the rules of this committee. So just Karen, I just wanted to share that.
Mhm. Okay, I appreciate that. I'm just going to note that it's important that you talk a lot to Alex too for work on your property, not just to Justin. It's a separate permitting.
Yeah, I now understand that. Yes.
Okay. And I have questions about the platform in the dune because I don't think we've permitted that. And looking at the old satellite photos of your property, it doesn't appear to have been there very long.
When we bought the house, those platforms were there. So there was just like pieces of wood that were on the platform, or sorry, on the dunes. And when we did the top grading of the side, I just asked Mike to top grade those dunes as well. The platform that was on that dune. It's not very big, it's sort of small, but there were like these wooden panels that were on the dunes when we bought the house, which was in I don't remember exactly, 2021 or so, 22.
Right. So that's not a permitted structure because we don't usually permit structures in a dune.
Okay. Yeah. I bought the house with that structure, so I would have to refer.
Right. It sounds like it originally just had pieces of wood laying on the ground, and then it sounds like you now added some foundation and structure to it.
No, there weren't. It wasn't pieces of wood. It was like these 2x2 panels. Several of these panels that were they weren't wood. They were like a
Mahogany.
Mahogany, and they just sat there on the dunes. It's probably, if I had to guess, like 4x6, 4x8, something like that. But there was a structure there.
Okay. It was not a permitted structure. And then it kind of got compounded by your doing work without coming in to ask for a permit.
Yeah, again, I apologize. That what I'm sharing is like that was there when I bought the house. And I was always told that if you have a path where you have a structure that is already in existence, you can always upgrade it. So I will follow what this committee is the guidance from this committee, but the house came with that structure and I just upgraded it.
Right. But you will also inherit when you buy the property an existing violation. So I don't know if you're aware of that. So
No, ma'am.
Okay. But that is actually the case. So that wasn't permitted, and it's unlikely, I think, that we would permit it just because it is in a dune, and we don't permit structures.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to see if anybody else has any questions.
Karen, I'm curious if we checked has Alex checked the files, and we're pretty sure, obviously we're pretty sure that that's not something we would permit, but just for due diligence, we've done the check and just curious
Yes,
if it
yeah.
ever popped up in
Mhm.
other work that was done. Nobody noticed it previously.
Yeah, I'm going back on satellite imagery. It appears that the structure went in sometime between April of 2022 and September of 2022. September of 2022, that's when I could see the mahogany platform, but in April, you know, it's just a vegetated dune at that point. I don't see any structure there at all, to be honest.
And let me ask you, Alex, we're hearing that the PT wood is in concrete. Is that something that you observed while you were there?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we did walk around the site, and the walkway on the southern side of the dwelling had pressure treated posts. The ones towards the road were in concrete footings. The ones, you know, towards the rear of the house, those ones had helical piers supporting those posts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, because it just looked in the pictures like it was all directly in contact with the
So
ground.
there is a portion of that walkway towards the back when it connects up with the back deck. There seemed to be some framing that was coming in contact with the ground.
Okay.
But as far as the posts themselves, you know, at least during my first glance, appeared to not be in contact.
Mhm. And you also mentioned that the manufactured decking was being cut on the property.
Yeah, those
Is that-
being cut in the driveway on site.
Mhm. Without tarps and precautions?
Correct.
So yeah, we try not to have that manufactured product, when you work with it, the sawdust and debris from it tends to get and stay in the ground. So we like to see that being worked either off-site or out of the resource area with a tarp and with appropriate tools or vacuum tools in place while the work's being done. Yeah, Joanne?
Yeah, so just to kind of get us going in a direction. So it sounds like, I mean, a platform and a dune is a no-go, right? So that's
Yeah.
got to come out. But in terms of the walkway, so what to do about the walkway, right? Can it be mitigated? And then the other violations, does there need to be additional mitigation to offset any of the damage or kind of, I'll call it pollution, I guess, that has been done in the process?
Those are good questions. I'm not sure how you clean up from the plastic deck boards being cut and that debris.
Yeah, and
Alex?
if you can't clean it up, then what do you do to offset, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that appeared to be in a very localized area in the driveway, so I would think that could be easily cleaned up.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so we need to get that cleaned up. We're going to want the platform, I think, out of the dune and the area restored with some planting. And what do we want to do? In the areas where the PT wood is in contact with the ground, well, we're going to need a filing for the walkways, as we haven't had one. And from my memory, it seems like these are much more substantial walkways. Are you telling us they're the same size as the ones that were there previously? And one of them you just raised higher.
Yeah, we just lifted it.
So you're saying that no vegetation was disturbed?
No.
No.
Okay. So we do need to have the PT not be in contact with the ground. So
Is there anything I can do to apply to that pressure treated wood? Like a tar of some sort or some sort of sealer I can put on there to put it back in the ground? Is that possible? That you guys,
mm,
you don't know of anything that I can do for that?
we don't usually do that. It's the regulations say that it can't be in contact with the ground. So usually it's either on some concrete or on helical piles or something like that. I don't think we permitted any kind of coating in the past.
So
Mike,
what,
can we
what-
can we just put concrete around it?
I think what we would need to see is a filing for this. I don't know, weigh in. Mike, what do you think?
Well, I'm not a construction contractor, but the regulations say you can't touch the ground, so I think they have to lift it up or something. But right now, all the framing is in the sand.
Yeah.
We don't permit it anybody else, so
Mhm.
But we have concrete in the sand surrounding the wood.
the pictures I'm looking at don't have any concrete.
Yeah, and
He's
that
showing the walkway on the other side, Dory.
The walkway on the south side of the house, the posts were in concrete footings in diamond piers, but the framing itself, which is also PT, towards the back of the walkway where it attaches to the back porch area, that was in contact.
What materials do you deem okay to replace the pressure treated wood if it were to touch the sand?
untreated wood would be good. Helical piles, we've allowed concrete, but that has to be included in the plan. Some people put crushed stone. Alex, any thoughts?
I know people have used, a composite material, an untreated hardwood. You are right. There have been some projects with gravel, but in a sandy environment like this, I'm not sure if gravel would be most appropriate.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, usually people don't have that in contact with the ground. Well, the PT, because that's what the regulation requires. So, yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
what do we need to do to go forward with this?
Well, we need to see, I guess, we're going to want to have the platform removed. So we're going to need to see a plan for that and for any restoration. This is the dune platform. And we're going to need to see a plan for the walkways, including materials and construction methods and so on. I guess we could see that as an after the fact filing. What do you think, Alex? It sounds like this
Yeah,
was
that would
just
be
an error. Yeah.
after the fact,
Mhm.
filing for the walkways.
Right. So we'll
We
need
also
after
we don't want to lose sight of this being a violation through the process, right?
right. But I think that would be the way to go forward with the walkways. For the dune, I think we can do that and keep it an enforcement issue. And if you could put together a plan for how the platform would be removed and the area restored. Does that sound right to the commission?
Sounds good.
And I think as far as
Sounds good.
restoration, as far as plantings for that platform, I think the American beach grass would be appropriate. Do you agree?
Yes. Yep.
Alex, do I just get the same company that's doing my grass right now to just plant those grasses there? Is that the best way to do it?
Yeah, I think perhaps, for you, that could be the easiest way forward with those mitigation plantings. Yeah.
So I should just ask Jake, since he's already doing the grass planting, I should just ask him to plant where the platform is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we will need to see a plan for the platform removal before it's removed. So
Yeah, what does that mean though? Like a plan? Don't we just remove the platform?
well, we want to make sure that the debris is handled right. That there's actually
There shouldn't be any construction debris if it's taken apart. It would just be unscrewed and then removed from over there. And
Yeah, there's nothing in the ground. It's just a piece of plastic that's on the dune itself. You just basically pick it up. Nothing was drilled. It was always just like a piece of wood that was sitting on the dune.
Okay, then I guess we could probably just have an order that orders you to remove it and restore the area with beach grass, and you could have whoever you want do the beach grass planting. Does that sound right to the rest of the commission? Okay, so
All right, so we'll pick up the platform, we'll remove it, and then I'll get that company that Alex mentioned to replant it with the beach grass, do it at the same time they're doing the other work.
right, and I guess we'd like that to be removed soon. When do you think that could happen?
We'll do it this week.
Okay, so and then we'll need to see a plan that details the walkways. We want to see them where the PT is not touching, and see that in a regular after the fact filing.
So how do you do that? I'm sorry, this is new to me. So what do we need to do there?
So you need to do this would be an RDA filing, I think. Don't you think, Alex? So an RDA is one of a type of wetlands filing. You get the form online, or you can I think talk to Alex tomorrow, and he'll set you on the right course for filling out the forms on that.
Okay, so
I will call Alex tomorrow, and I'll get everything squared away with the RDA filing, and I will get some sort of sketch together to show what's going to be done on the walkways. So no violation is being done with any of the materials being used.
Yeah.
I will be in contact with Alex tomorrow.
Okay. I'll be at a vaccination clinic in the afternoon, so sometime tomorrow morning would be best.
Okay, sure. Yes, that does.
Okay. Do we want to do an official order for the removal of the platform? I think so. If we
Yeah.
Okay, so we should have a motion that the platform is to be removed. We'll give it a deadline of a month. Would be reasonable.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think the sooner the better, but I think, as far as the enforcement goes, a month, yeah.
That the platform is to be removed and the area restored with beach grass by November 21st would be 30 days.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it as quickly as possible.
Joanne?
Sorry, I kind of accidentally put my hand up, but I do want to say I truly appreciate both the owner and the contractor coming to us and being so willing to address the issue and do it quickly. I know it sounds like we're giving you a hard time. That's our job. But we always appreciate when owners and contractors are willing to work with us. So much appreciated.
Right,
Thank you. Thank you to this commission too. Again, like it's important that we follow the rules. We apologize, and that's why we wanted to make the point to be here and be as cooperative as we can.
Yeah, so I want to thank Joanne for thanking you, and I want to second that. So, if we could have a motion to the platform removal. Okay, I'll say it again. So removal of the platform by November 21st to be replanted with American beach grass.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, Janet,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yeah,
Greg,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I am a yes. And as for the RDA, you'll get that in as soon as possible.
Yep, we'll do that tomorrow, like Mike said. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good then. Anybody need to add anything? Alex, are we good? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night.
And let's see, next on the agenda, I've lost my agenda. Okay. I hate when that happens. Okay, here we go. Okay, liaison reports. And I have nothing from strategic planning except to say that we've relocated our next meeting to sometime in December. And open space meets on October 30th at 2:30. Okay, anything from Forest Committee?
No. I
Okay.
mean, we did the
Anything for-
planting on Saturday,
Mhm.
and
How
our
did
next
that go?
meeting is November 19th to talk about spring planning.
Okay, how'd the planting go?
It's great. It came out really well. Looks great.
I look forward to seeing it in bloom.
Would you mind circulating a picture to the commission?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Janet, CPA committee?
Not this week. Not next week, but soon.
Okay, so the deadline for applications is approaching pretty
Yes,
soon.
it is. So I hope they're getting some. I have not been notified.
Okay, Alex?
Somewhat unrelated, but I wanted to mention that Brad Chase and his crew made it out to the culvert that goes underneath the bike trail, and he was able to open that up. Hopefully for the herring next spring. I haven't been out to the site, take a look, but he will be presenting the commission with the maintenance plan for that area. I think, sometime later this month or next. So I'll keep you guys posted on that.
That'll be super. Okay, education and training updates. Anybody have anything? Nope. Okay. And then other discussion. So we just wanted to follow up with the saltwater dock regulation. Remind everybody that they were going to take a look and share comments back with me. I've gotten them from Janet. So if you guys wouldn't mind taking a look and getting me comments maybe within the next 2 weeks, I can do a revision.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So I look forward to that. Is there anything else anybody would like to say tonight? No? Okay. If we could have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Okay. Greg?
Yes.
Chuck?
yes.
Joanne?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I am a yes.
And I'm a yes.
And Janet, I'm sorry. And Janet's a yes. Okay, so we are done. It's only 6:54 p.m., so enjoy your early night.